Hey everyone, John here. Welcome back to the channel. There are many ways to pick a stock, from the overload of information on the internet to the rumors you heard it from your friends or neighbors. I wouldn't recommend the latter though. Ultimately, stock picking shouldn't be too complicated. You don't need to be a wizard to pick a good stock, nor rely on information given by social media gurus and stockbrokers. All you need is just common sense, little bit of critical thinking, or simply follow any of these 5 ways that I'm about to show you, and I guarantee you will be good at stock picking. The first method, your circle of competence. Circle of competence is simple. Each of us, through experience or study, has built up useful knowledge on certain areas of the world. Some areas are understood by most of us, while some areas require a lot of specialty to evaluate. For example, most of us may have a basic understanding of how a restaurant operates. You need to rent a place, buy sets of tables and chairs, kitchen utilities and ingredients. Then maybe you hire a few employees to serve, cook and clean. Once you have the cost carefully laid out and calculated, you can then set your price for your food and drinks, be it in accordance to the market price or personal evaluation. From there, it's a matter of generating enough traffic with the aim to cover all the operating expenses and cost of goods sold, ultimately generate profit. So that's the rough idea of it, along with some understanding of accounting and a little bit of study, would enable one to evaluate and invest in any number of restaurants and restaurant chains, be it public or private. It's not all that complicated. If you are working as an employee in a tech manufacturing company, then you may want to study who are your customers, suppliers, or explore how important your company is in the value chain. This does not limit to being a housewife or house husband. Your grocery shopping and furniture hunting can tell you the price movement of the goods, which brand are the most welcoming among consumers, and many more. All you need is to be more observant in your surroundings, which brings us to the second method, be observant. Yes, I know it's nothing special, but having a strong observation skill can help you stand out among the crowd. You don't need to observe the market for 10, 20 years, going through market cycles or whatnot. You just need to pay more attention on the present and think what's going to happen in the next month or even years. The demand for food delivery since March 2020 is one of the great examples. I'm not sure about you, but I always see GrabFood and 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 motorcyclists delivering around my neighborhood. Sometimes when I'm driving, I'll see many of them waiting along the roadside of 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗶𝗶 to collect the food packages. So, 2 things spark in my thought process. 1, GrabFood business must be very good. And the second thing is, many food packaging must be used in the process. Hence, based on that, I already know how to start my search. I'll find out about Grab and their financials, research public listed companies who manufacture food packaging, and if you think a little bit more deeper, you may want to look out for companies who supply the raw materials such as resin to the food packaging manufacturers. Just based on observation with a little bit of critical thinking, you will discover many ideas, thus making your search easier and straightforward. The third method is the secondary source. I think most people tend to rely on this method to pick stocks, which is via online or secondary source. This can be your typical news like The Age, Bloomberg, journal articles, or maybe even contents on YouTube or Facebook Live. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, am I right? Nah, I'm just joking. Personally, I feel this is the least effort way to generate stock ideas, but also the easiest to fall victim to invest in an already overvalued stocks or are simply boring in nature. Not to mention, those readily information may be outdated and most of the time you will be not aware. Hence, it's important for you to take extra precaution and do your necessary due diligence before investing in those stock tips. Facts and numbers won't lie to you. That said, you can read up on the company's audited annual reports. Keyword here is audited, investor presentation on the company website, or maybe even the external trade data like export and import value that is available on the Department of Statistics Malaysia portal. By the way, if you want to learn how to read an annual report, you can check out my video. I'll put the link in the description down below, or you can click on the I button that pops up at the upper right hand corner of the video. Ultimately, you just need to be sure that those stock tips aren't companies that are hanky-panky and is nice and clean, backed with real facts and numbers. The fourth method, screening through the company's financial situation. This one is one of my personal preference. When I'm screening through hundreds of companies, I will shortlist a few based on their financial performance for the past 10 to 20 years. Specifically, analyzing their sales, gross profit, operating profit and net profits, sometimes the cost of goods sold and operating expenses from the income statement. On their balance sheet, I will look at their debts, cash, inventories, retained earnings, share capital, receivables, and payables. And most notably, I'll put my utmost focus on their cash flow statement because that's where their core earnings are at. Plus, that's where I'll know how healthy their business operation is based on their free cash flow. Nevertheless, numbers without facts or explanation are useless. So one should not solely rely just on their financial data, but pair it together with your findings and understanding of the business. Which brings us to the final method, studying the qualitative side of the business. This requires a deeper understanding about a company, but the general idea is you need to understand the business. And by level of understanding, it means you can explain a company's business model to a 12-year-old without any difficult jargons. For example, this is how I would explain to a 12-year-old about 𝗏𝗏𝗍. The company buys raw materials like cottons and other materials to make clothes, shoes, bags and accessories in their factory. The items are then shipped and placed in shopping malls so that you and I can buy nice and affordable clothes and shoes to wear. Simple and sweet. Based on the explanation, you will know what are the key aspects to keep an eye on. For instance, how commodity price fluctuation like cotton may affect 𝗏𝗏𝗍's profit margins, whether their company still have room to grow, for instance, expanding to untapped areas at overseas, and even discovering their business competitive advantage in the apparel industry, as well as their underlying risks. Hence, if you can understand the qualitative side of the business, you will most definitely have a higher probability of picking a good stock. Though they are more than just that. To name a few, the quality of management team, total addressable market, and many more. So if you're keen to learn more about these qualitative aspects, make sure you are subscribed, hit the notification bell so that you will get notified once they are out. So those are my 5 ways on how to pick a good stock. Hope you guys learned something in this video. If you did, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button for more contents like this in the future. I post new videos pretty much every week. And if you have done that already, here's a final bonus tip for you all who stayed till the end. That is, don't give into the hype or FOMO. Because 95% of the time, hype stocks are overvalued and are bound for a correction. As the famous Warren Buffett said, only invest in companies that you can understand. Thank you for dropping by and I'll see you in the next one. Fearless.